We have criticisms of President Trump. These are huge numbers. People are voting with their remote controls. Give him a few months, and I think you'll be impressed.
Welcome to The Big Question, a series from Euronews where we speak to some of the most influential people in the world of business. I'm Angela Barnes, and today I'm joined virtually by Chris Ruddy, co-founder and CEO of US news outlet Newsmax. Chris, thank you ever so much for joining us on the programme.
Well, Angela, I'm glad to be here.
Newsmax recently IPO'd, went public and floated on the New York Stock Exchange and did incredibly well, with your share price rising over 2,200% soon afterwards. That turned you into essentially practically a billionaire overnight. Can you tell me about that?
Well, it's still a euphoric moment. We only just went public on the New York Stock Exchange March 31st, so we're just a few weeks into this. It's been very good. We're not as high. I mean, what happened was there was so much initial demand. There were a limited number of shares trading those first few days, especially, that it exploded the stock. Now it's come down to earth, but it's still over 100% higher than when we went out, which is incredible in a down market.
Now, Chris, tell us here in Europe a little bit more about Newsmax and your general philosophy.
Well, I started Newsmax in '98, so we started as a digital media company. Newsmax.com became one of the leading conservative news brands online, but we actually started a cable news channel relatively recently in 2014. It has become the number 5 of all American cable channels. Newsmax we're very American. And America was founded on Judeo-Christian principles. We're a nation of faith. I know in Europe it's not in vogue to cite faith, to reference faith, but I am a believer in Jesus Christ. But, we have people of all religions at Newsmax, but we recognize that the American people would like to see news that reflect their values and the founding principles of the country, which has really great things like respect for other people, tolerance that comes out of Christianity. And so, I think these are great American values, and that's why it's resonating with the audience. They like it. Nielsen reported we had 34 million viewers tune in last quarter, up 50% from the previous year. These are huge numbers. And then Reuters Institute did a study last year, and they said there are 12 top U.S. news brands. We were one of them. So we have had an incredible rise, although it's been a little longer than most people think. And I think it's really the American people. It's not just us. I mean, we are putting out a quality product on Newsmax, but people are voting with their remote controls, with their downloads, with their apps, and they're saying they want Newsmax. They want alternative media here in the United States. The media has gone so left, so woke in so many ways, and there really aren't a lot of alternatives. So Newsmax is here.
Now, Chris, I understand you're very good friends with US President Donald Trump. What's he like beyond the headlines and public persona that we all see?
Well, I've known President Trump for almost 30 years. We're friends. We talk a lot. Not always on politics. We'll talk about things like golf and mutual friends and things, and he'll give me health advice. I remember once he told me that I should take up golf, not for playing golf, but that I wouldn't eat so much because I'd be on the golf course. And this is his sort of practical way of thinking on the world. They say integrity is about your personality, right? That you're very similar in your approach, but both privately and publicly. And really what you see is what you get. They did all these investigations, and they found out there was really no secret side of Donald Trump. There was no even devious. Everything's there, and he likes putting things out in tweets. That's his way of doing it. He just is a very transparent guy. We've never had a president that speaks to the press so often, takes questions, open-minded to issues and things like that. So he's a little unusual. I know he rocks the boat. Some people in Europe don't like him so much. I understand that, but I think if you look at how he left the world when he was in his first term, we basically had peace around the world, and Trump is now putting out fires in the U.S. It's a really nasty brew of things that he's dealing with. Give him a few months, and I think you'll be impressed.
And does your friendship with President Trump affect your content on Newsmax, do you think?
He has indicated Newsmax is his favorite channel in the U.S. He has certainly encouraged people to tune in. Newsmax is always, we describe ourselves as independent news with a conservative perspective. We welcome liberal perspectives. We have criticisms of President Trump. There are a lot of people, both left and right in America, that don't like the tariff policy. They're on Newsmax all the time. So, but I still have tremendous respect and admiration for my friend. I think he has done an amazing job, outperformed actually. And I know people are very jittery over the tariffs and various positions on Ukraine and so forth. But I always say give him a little time. He knows how to work his magic, and sometimes it takes a little time.
Now, Chris, I'm also interested to get your thoughts on what you think the role of media should be across the world, including here in Europe.
Well, I studied in Europe in the London School of Economics in England. When I was a student back in the 80s, I was very impressed by the diversity of the British press and the identity of so many. I would enjoy reading The Guardian. It was a liberal paper at the time, and they let it, that it was liberal, but they had a lot of insights that you wouldn't get, let's say, in the conservative press. The British press has become somewhat more ossified since then, but in Europe, I'm disappointed. Generally, there doesn't seem like on television, they say there's very few alternatives. And I think it ends up gives more stability that you have more diverse press.
And finally, Chris, what's next for Newsmax? Any plans to expand?
Well, we have licenses in over 100 countries, 5 continents that carry Newsmax. For example, in France, Molotov, which is the largest online carrier, has Newsmax. You can listen to it in English. And Freeview in Britain. In Serbia, we have Newsmax Serbia that has been a powerful local language news outlet and gets a lot of attention. People go there from around the world, been interviewed. It's been fantastic. So all of these are very good things. And I think it's a sign that the people around the world, and with AI, we just launched, for instance, in DirecTV, Latin America and Dominican Republic, where people can actually get our English channel with AI dubbing in Spanish. So maybe we can do that someday in Germany, for instance, or Italy, which would be fun, and give them access to American news.
Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining me today on The Big Question. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the show.
Well, Angela, really glad to be with you.